Labor rights. Good evening. Shower labor rights. Let me say something. I'm happy that we have a gathering like this. We're 80 years old, and I want to say Prime Minister Young Jamaica is 51 years old. So you see, when our former leader and Prime Minister thought about developing Jamaica, he thought about young people. And he is the founding father of Young Jamaica. This evening, we have many past presidents here, including yourself, Prime Minister. And we're proud to say that Young Jamaica has produced two prime ministers, well, three, because Edward Philip George Seaga is our founding father. And so this evening, I'm proud, as president of Young Jamaica, Rowan Walsh, to say that we are happy that our government is doing the work that it's doing now. Prime Minister, I want to say that Matthew is my friend. Senator, Minister Matthew Samuda is my friend. And I call him my friend for many years, since 2016. Mr. Terry Long, Minister, State Minister and Foreign Affairs is my friend. And these two gentlemen that you have given the opportunity to serve have always been loyal to Young Jamaica. They have always been supportive to Young Jamaica. And this is what we're talking about. These two gentlemen are former members of G2K, but they've always served Young Jamaica well. Whenever we call upon these gentlemen, they are always there for us. And I'm proud to say that our General Secretary, since 2013, when Mr. Chamberlain said it's time for us to hit the road, our General Secretary took us up and said yes. And we have been doing the work since then when we revived Young Jamaica. And you, Prime Minister, was influential in that as well, and we're happy for that. And you have always been supportive as well. Our chairman, step by step, has always been with us, Mr. Montague, and we're happy for that. We're very pleased to know that members, past members, and even members who are not, who are members of the party but are not past members of Young Jamaica, they've always been supportive of the work that we do. And so, Prime Minister, on our 80th birthday, I want to say to you that we will be launching a campaign known as Bridge the Gap, right? Where we'll be looking at some constituencies and we'll be going around Jamaica and we'll be having discussions and we'll be talking to young people, and not only young people, everybody, because we believe in winning the third term. We believe in you, sir, because you believe in us first. And so the third term is something that we're working on. And so we'll be on the ground, right? When we launch that, we'll be on the ground. So, Prime Minister, thank you. Members of the party, thank you. We are proud. I speak on behalf of the members. We are proud to call ourselves Labourites and to work for Bustamanti Party. Show our Labourites. Thank you. I want to invite Alston Douglas. Alston, and let me give you a little bit about Alston. Alston is a man who works behind the scenes. And I'm asking Alston to come and speak on behalf of some of the nameless and faceless people who work behind the scenes to make sure that our campaign operations work seamlessly. We see the motorcades going. We see the buses turn up at constituencies to take people to conference. We see the music truck moving around. We see all the coordination, but we don't know who is in the road. So let me invite Anston to come and say what he has said to me will be a few words. Very few. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We party. Say practically born and grew up in, right? David, you was my grandmother. So we're one. Bobby is my brother. No, he didn't know. That's what I'm saying. He used to buck him up on occasion. Created the cherry trees. Tell him, remind him. Association with the party.
All right. So we're making good progress. We're making good progress. We're going to wrap up with a few more predetermined tributes because that's what they've turned out to be. They're not toasts anymore. And then we will have a very brief open mic if anyone wants to host the party. And then I will give some closing brief remarks. So let me invite Mr. Alanda Terrelong, and then I have seen Minister Tufton walking in, Minister Pernell Charles Jr., and let me hope I'm not leaving anyone out who would have wanted to say anything, but after that, the mic is open.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Labour rights, one and all, it is always a pleasure to be in the presence of the party that believes in prosperity, the party that believes in growth, the party that believes in development, the party that has truly taken Jamaica from poverty to prosperity. And Prime Minister, I must tell you again, thanks for the new ministry in which you've asked me to serve, because it has given me a wider perspective on. En español, pues claro. Pues vamos a comenzar en español, porque para mí siempre es un placer para servir y yo creo que what it has done, Prime Minister, is that it has exposed me beyond the shores of Jamaica to the heart of the diaspora. And the experience I would have garnered from working with, I saw Minister Reid here, Minister Samuda, Minister Bridge as well. When you speak about education, youth, culture, and sports, that is what the diaspora is all about. And Prime Minister, my message for the diaspora and my message here tonight is that as a party, as a government, Jamaica has become more than sand, sea, fun in the sun. Jamaica has become the place of business and trade and commerce and investment. That's the beauty about a Jamaica under the Jamaica Labour Party. It is a party where young people can own their own home. It is a party that has given young people the opportunity to learn skills. We call it the upskills by free up to the point of an associate's degree, free skills training at the Heart Academy. Unprecedented. That is the vision. Our anthem says, give us vision lest we perish. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness and this government have been leading with a vision in mind where all Jamaicans can prosper. So, Prime Minister, my toast extends beyond the shores of Jamaica into the heart of the diaspora because people are now believing in the power and might of a Jamaica truly developed, ensuring that Vision 2030, growth, development, and prosperity for all is reached, being led by you, sir, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And again, Floyd spoke about youth, and of course, we have G2K and Young Jamaica. And again, Floyd and I, and Matthew Mood as well, and others, we are products of G2K. We are products of the Prime Minister bringing in youth empowerment, which is essential, which will be essential to winning the next general election. So, cheers, one and all. Saludos a todos aquí en Jamaica y también en diáspora. Saludos.
Minister Tufton.
Thank you very much, Tony.
guys. Good evening to all. Good evening to all. So, first of all, I want to say nobody or no institution survives 80 years unless we're doing something right. But big up to the Labour Party, big up to the past and present Labour right. And in the case of the current leadership, big up to the Honourable Prime Minister for his leadership. That was to all. So I have been either for good or bad with my portfolio for 7+ years now. So well, it's about 7 years of age, about 15, right? No, the reason I made the point, the reason I made the point. First of all, I want to thank the Prime Minister for the confidence. And I want to pay tribute to him from the standpoint that we've all done so, that he believes in people, he invests power and authority in others, and he allows them to do their job. And I can testify to that because he gave me a job to do. When he think we kind of out the line, he called me one side and we have a conversation. And that's the quality of a good leader. And I want to pick him up for carrying the Labour Party over the last number of years under this current era. But I also want to say that as part of the team and his leadership, PNP couldn't run Jamaica over the last 7 years ago. He have run. And I tell you something, I recall why the people of Jamaica rejected them. You remember Chief V? You remember the University David scandal? They couldn't manage it. And one thing I will assure you, Prime Minister, under your leadership and your guidance, that help won't be anything but positive for the people of Jamaica under the current Labour Party leadership. And we have done well. We have 1,500 additional posts. We're doing the largest capital investment, over 250 million US dollars since independence. No other government has spent so much money on public health. And we know there are still challenges, but without a doubt, we have done the best of any other administration. And this is the man right here. But let it take, because without him and his leadership, so shout out to all. We have many, many more years to go, and you can count on my support under the leadership of my Jonas. Thank you very much, sir.
So, thank you, Minister Doctor. So you see how far we gone now? I mean, we got 1.5 hours with just Labour Party music. No break to play any other song other than Labour. Oh, wait. Indeed. Now, I can tell you about this song. This song, again, boy, I tell you, I actually had some lyrics contributed to this song, Recovering Strong. When we were thinking about the 2020 campaign, we wondered what should be the message for the campaign. One of the things we discovered when we learned from past campaigns is that sometimes the message that we gave was not easily understood. And moreover, it didn't capture the essence of the time. The essence of the time from COVID was to get out of COVID quickly and to recover stronger. And in fact, the message evolved from recovering stronger to just simply stronger. A stronger Jamaica, a stronger Jamaica Labour Party. And so that was the origin of this song, Recovering Stronger. So I want to now invite Minister Pernell Charles Jr. to come and show whether or not he's stronger than his father.
That's not a challenge. I'm trying to. You know, Prime Minister, let me say thank you to you. And I want to say thank you to my father for instilling in me and my siblings the confidence that I've never had a difficulty being called Pernell's son. It has always been a badge of honor. And so there's no need for a comparison because God knows what he was doing when he made version 1 and upgraded to version 2. Let's get going, Labour. All right. Now I want to say, you know, there's always a conversation about politics. And you know, there's many ways to get into politics.
But let me tell you how the Labour Party is strong. In 1976, my father was thrown into prison, red fence. My mother, who stands to his right, is Gloria Charles, the Queen, the matriarch, had to run Prime Minister with my siblings to New York. She was followed to the point where, having to do multiple jobs, she went into an accident, almost lost her life and my sister's life. She couldn't eat for 6 months. She had to eat from a straw. Despite all of those things, Prime Minister, despite being thrown in a hole, despite my family being shot at, I remember being in a car once, Michael, and I was with Patrice, driving from a rally in Maypen. And when we reached that corner right there, where you see the big Porsche sign, some man come out and leg us, I'm in the 16 after it. And I had to throw Patrice's head into a dashboard. Despite all of that, the Jamaica Labour Party, founded by Buster Manty, who I have the honor to represent a constituency that he led, still was able to attract not only one person from my family, but I sit in Parliament with the historic honor of serving with my beautiful, older, younger sister, Michelle. And I think that is the strength of the Labour Party. That even for persons who, from generation to generation, may often be diverted from politics, our Labour Party, because we know that we are Labourites, not just because we had to be under the Rockstone Charles, but because we know that this is the best thing for our country. And so we serve with this party and with this leader because we know that this is what's best for our country. Prime Minister, I want to close by saying to you, you have offered me an opportunity to serve, unlike Minister Tufton, who served in one place for 7 years. I've served in 6. But it has been an awesome opportunity. You have created more opportunity for young people than I think anybody in this country. There are many persons who are unknown, who are not ministers, who are not MPs, who I know have come to you, who I have sent to you, who you have helped. Prime Minister, we respect you, we thank you, and we just want to raise our glasses in this 80th anniversary to pray that you continue to have the stamina, the vig, and the vigor to continue to lead us through the stormy seas as our leader, our brother, and our friend. Show our liberate.
I saw Minister Matthew Samuda somewhere, and I'm certain that he would want to pay tribute to this great institution, after which we will open the mic for a minute for anyone else who would want to give tribute to the party. Minister Samuda.
Show our Labourites. Show our Labourites. Happy 80th to the greenest government since independence. The greenest government since adult suffrage. This has been the government under Andrew Holness that has pushed forward the greatest environmental reforms. And center-right parties aren't always known for environmental reforms. But it has been a source of pride for us to be the government that protected the cockpit country. For us to be the government that banned single-use plastic bags. For us to be the government that protected the Black River morass. For us to be the government that protected the Petro Keys. This is a government that will protect the natural heritage of Jamaica. It is not the orange government that will put coal into the air in St. Elizabeth. It is not the government that will build on Goat Islands. It is the government that will protect, restore, and ensure that your children, my children, our grandchildren have the best of Jamaica in the future. Thank you, Prime Minister Holness. It has been a pleasure. And nothing in the hand, but cheers to 80 years and cheers to 80 more. Show our Labourites.
Take your time, and I know there's no behind. Show a labor right. Hold on. Show a labor right. Indeed, I stand here to represent the 14 individuals that did not make it past the post. And I declare that we become the insurance policy of the Jamaica Labour Party. It means that if anything happens that we are not where 49-14 is concerned, there is one caretaker that is going to make it past the post for the Jamaica Labour Party. I was born in 1964, and I can declare to you that as I see the Jamaica Labour Party in 1960s becoming the pearl of the Caribbean, in 1970 the country was desecrated under the People's National Party, rescued in the 80s under the Jamaica Labour Party. So I have declared that the Jamaica Labour Party continues to be the transformative government for for Jamaica and continue to be the rescue mission for the Jamaican people. Every time the Jamaica Labour Party is in power, Jamaica grows. Jamaica can breathe a sigh of relief that Jamaica is in good hands. And what a wonderful thing to say now, that under the leadership of Andrew Michael Holness, Jamaica continues to be in good hands. And so I say to us, let us continue to proclaim the positive messages of the Jamaica Labour Party. Let us continue to shout the positive achievements of the Jamaica Labour Party. Because indeed, when Jamaica is led by the Jamaica Labour Party, we shall experience positiveness and indeed prosperity. So I say to us as we celebrate our 80th year, we can and we must ensure that 63 constituencies continue to manifest, continue to show that Jamaica Labour Party is the best party that Jamaica has ever seen in the present, in the past, in the present, and in the future. Our Labour Bright, 3 terms is loading, and show a Labour right, we will achieve the 3rd term and continue into the 4th. Show Labour right. So this song was another song from the 2020 campaign. It didn't get a lot of play because the truth is, by midway the campaign, we didn't need to have any more songs. It was already set. But it was a song about staying together, being unified, about being one country to overcome adversity. It is a message for our party, and we should stay together, stick together, and that is how we will overcome adversity. As we celebrate 80 years, we recall that the origin of the Jamaica Labour Party was out of the labor movement of the 1930s. Indeed, at that time, the view was that Jamaica would have almost what could be described as a totalitarian state. One political party having power. Bustamante said, well, won't have any other. And he formed the Jamaica Labour Party. And it is fortuitous that he formed the Jamaica Labour Party because that is what has given us our two-party state, which has entrenched, supported, and ensured our democracy. But as we reflect as well, we recognize that
it might be pure coincidence that whenever there is a serious challenge facing the country, it is the Jamaica Labour Party that must deal with it. In 1951, we had Hurricane Charley. We had Hurricane Gilbert in 1988, the most devastating hurricane to have hit our island post independence. But you would also recall that in 2009, we faced the worst financial crisis, the global financial meltdown. How many of you remember that? Before that, in 1988, we had a commodity price crash. And then on top of that, we had the oil price increases. Another set of global crises that affected Jamaica. Not of our doing. And then in 2020, we had the worst pandemic in 100 years. And in all of those threats, these what we call external exogenous threats, it is the Jamaica Labour Party that has stood in the breach and rescued Jamaica. But if you look at the PNP term,
Every challenge that they have had, it has been self-inflicted. If not self-inflicted, they didn't manage it well. Minister Tufton pointed out chikungunya. Yes, it affected the entire Caribbean region, but they didn't manage it well. No comparison to how we managed COVID. You know, in the 90s, we had a financial collapse, a collapse of our banking and financial sector. FinSac, how many of you remember that? That was not an external shock. That was of their doing.
in the 70s, you had the state of emergency and the collapse of our economy. They're doing. So I just wanted to point out to all of you who are gathered here that the Jamaica Labour Party is important to the stability of Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party ensures balance, but it also ensures that the country grows, that there is investment and development in our country. And that is really who we are. We are the party that is pro-growth. We are the party that is pro-development. But we are also the party that believes in resilience and sustainability, as Matthew pointed out, protecting our environment and ensuring that our country can withstand the ravages of climate change. We are the party that believes in a system of merit. We believe in market solutions where they can work. But we are also the party of social equity. We believe in ensuring that people have the empowerment in education, access to healthcare, in a proper social safety net, access to employment, so that we can truly be independent. That is what we believe in. And in fulfillment of that mandate, Jamaica now has the lowest unemployment rate in its history. Jamaica has the highest reserves in its history. The debt to GDP ratio has fallen from 151 to now 78. Our debt servicing, we used to pay 60% or more out of every dollar. Now we pay 28%. 28 cents out of every dollar. We are going in the right direction. However, there are challenges. And I don't think we can hide away from those challenges. People are still saying they can't get houses. Crime is high. People are concerned about their education system. They're concerned about the quality of their health care. They're concerned about roads. They're concerned about water. Those concerns have always been with us. But what is new? What is new? For the first time in 50 years, the government that you have formed, that you have put in place, now has the ability to address them. The economic engine is being fine tuned so that it can produce the resources to fix the road, to build the hospitals, to build the schools, to build the houses. While those things are being done, we have to ask people, our voters, to pardon the progress because there will be dislocation. And once there is dislocation, there is the opportunity for political mischief. We can't get flustered by people who will seek to stand in the breach to take advantage of those opportunities. What we must do in our 80th year is to resolve to tell the story of the Jamaica Labour Party in wide and far, in every nook and cranny of Jamaica. We have more achievements and success to bring to the people, to say to them, listen, I understand your frustration, I understand your fatigue, but the only party that by history, the only party that by experience is able to deliver for you is the Jamaica Labour Party. So in our 80th year, let us recommit to our founding principles. Let us recommit to the vision to which we aspire. And let us tell our story as proud Jamaicans. We are the ones to rescue Jamaica. We are the ones to build Jamaica. We are the ones who will realize the true vision of prosperity, peace, and progress for Jamaica. God bless you. I love you. Please join me in raising your glass to the Jamaica Labour Party for 80 successful years. And may we have another 80 more successful years to come. God bless you. Happy birthday, Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaica is on the right road and the price is very low. We can't afford a standstill, have to make it economy grow. Now, things are the dark items like them, the ones are past no. But prosperity bells are ringing now, and the green we have to go. So, give that green light, and to give that green light. Oh, give that green light. I'm saying give that green light. Give that green light. Listen up. Give that green light. Don't let it intersection. After moving the right direction. From the party election. Right selection. Slow, but we really have to go. Listen out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the Jamaica Labour Party 80th anniversary celebration live at the Spanish Court Hotel. Greetings to everybody. Thank you all for joining us. It's a little bit late, but we are on it. Jamaica Labour Party turns 80 today, man. That's something to celebrate, something to smile about, something to be happy about, and something a lot for us to be proud about. We're happy that we were able to tune in, thanks to one of our loyal followers or loyal supporter who was able to connect us there. Not the best connection in the world, but we appreciate it nonetheless. Rashima, big up yourself. Good to see you. Clive Smith. Val Rose, what's going on with you? Good to see y'all, folks. So, yes, Abraham Thomas, what's going on with you? Amy Sinclair, Everton Jarrett, Anita, how you all doing? Just that everybody is well. Bridget Foster, Bridget. Garfield Reed, how you doing, my brother? I trust that you are doing well, my friend. The Jamaica Labour Party turns 80 today, Garfield. Something to be proud of. I know you're supposed to be a very happy man over there in South Florida, knowing that you have a Jamaica that you can come home to and feel a sense of pride, feel a sense of security, and knowing that the level of lifestyle that you would live in countries like the United States and others, it's coming here. Big up yourself. We know your radio station, Wave Radio, over there in South Florida, had the Minister of Information on this afternoon. Very good interview. We appreciate that. And we appreciate you spreading the word to the people of South Florida about what is happening here in Jamaica, spreading the tidings of good joy. Hartens Buchanan, big up yourself. Blessed love, enough respect to you. All right, so we're going to drop this link in the chat. And if you guys want to jump on and give a shout out to the 80th anniversary, if you want to give a shout out to the 80-year-old Jamaica Labour Party, please feel free to do so. There's a link right there. It's right on the Chops Media. Go ahead and click that link and you can come right on in and give your remarks, your toast, your shout out. Well, I want to say to you folks that it's a blessing, because this is not a political party that was ushered into government on any great pedestal. It was a struggle. And the Prime Minister just spoke to the fact that we were always the party that would rescue Jamaica from some of the roughest period in history. And on this program, we always go back to the 1960s and 70s. And we look at the 70s, a lost period, a period where we have not been able to gain that level of growth that we have seen back then. We've lost the 1970s and we've not been able to recover. I guess we just put that in the past and move on. Again, we came back in the 1980s and we did significantly well under Edward Philip George Seaga. And by 1989, we lost the election again. And we had Jamaica out in the cold for quite a while. It was the Jamaica Labour Party again that came to the rescue. It's a very unfortunate situation that again we're at a milestone where we are not out of the woods, because here comes another period in Jamaica's history again when we are faced with tough decisions. Not a tough decision as to whether or not we will plunge ourselves back in the situation we were in back in the 1970s and possibly the 1990s. Two of the worst periods in Jamaica's history would have been the 1970s and the 1990s into 2000s. Those were periods that we wish we didn't have. And those were periods that we are hoping we will never repeat. Jamaica has lost an entire generation to those periods of low economic growth and stagnation as a country. But it is this Jamaica Labour Party that would have moved us in a direction where we can safely say we are almost out of the woods. Jamaica is now seeing growth in the economy. We're now seeing a Jamaica that is set on a path for development. We see Sharon Hay Webster might be joining us in a quick second. It would be good to have her on. She will be able to give us some perspective of how Jamaica has evolved and where we are today. I mean, it is something to be thankful for, and it is something for us to cherish. The position that we're in now as a country, we have never been in this position. And that is one of the reasons why you see there's so much jittering all over the place and sometimes some level of confusion, because these are not positions that we're accustomed to. These are positions that we dreamt of for many years. We dreamt of the days when Jamaica would be boasting economic growth. We dreamt of the days when Jamaica would be in a position to pay higher wages. We dreamt of the day when Jamaica would be able to have a debt to GDP that is in double digit. We're not just in double digit now. We are just about 10% away from the global standard of debt to GDP. These are things for us to be proud of. These are things for us to be excited about. And these are things that we must celebrate at age 80. It took us a long time. We lost 18 and a half years. We lost approximately 28 years. 28 years gone, missing, can't come back. 18 and a half during the 1990s under P.J. Patterson. And another 9 or 10 years, 9 years under Michael Manley. Those are years that we will not see. They're gone. Those years are gone. And if we are to celebrate, we must celebrate the fact that we are able to hold this country together. This Jamaica Labour Party government has been able to hold it together. And despite what you're hearing a lot of negatives out there. You hear the PNP going around with a lot of narratives. False narratives, those are. In making it seem as though Jamaica is not in a good spot. But I can tell you, the Jamaican people are not stupid. And I don't think people should get excited and get carried away. Misinformation is being exposed. That's the important thing. The AI-generated advertisement campaign that the PNP is on is being exposed. The Jamaica Labour Party today is communicating better than they were 20 years ago. They're not where they need to be, but they are communicating better. They are responding to some of these propagandas and lies more forthright. They are responding quicker. And they seem to be leading some of these conversations as opposed to responding to some of them. So I say to you, don't follow the noise. Stay focused. After 80 years of the Jamaica Labour Party, we are in a position now where we can basically celebrate 80 and not just beat your chest, but be proud. Be proud of the political party's achievement We see Sharon Hay Webster trying to join us. Let's see if we can get her on. I hope we can send her that link again. But there you go, Sister Cher.
I
I
was
greet
listening to you.
I greet you well.
I'm here
How are
munching grapes and listening to you.
boy? I'm glad you come on, because let me tell you something. There's something for us to celebrate. And as I was
Yes,
rambling
certainly.
here, people don't recognize that there's a huge part of Jamaica that we have lost, Sharon. Where we are today, we could have been there many years ago.
But
Talk
but
to us about the journey. Talk to it.
but let me tell you something.
Mhm.
Many people know that I came from another space.
Yes,
Across the aisle and I'm here now as choosing GLP. Well, let me tell you
absolutely.
something. Chopper, I'm embarrassed.
Mhm.
Why? Not in terms of coming to join the GLP, but when I have gone in the field to seats that have been held by the other party and
Mhm.
were seen as bastions, so to speak. Or when I look
Mhm.
at my own seat, which I had the opportunity to serve in, where I fought hard for another woman to take charge there. I'm, man, clinics that you put so much work on,
Mhm.
can same way. They haven't moved.
Nothing changed.
I'm talking about the community spaces. I fought
Yes.
hard to put down and change, build a community center, put down a multi-purpose court, both in very strong PNP areas, and they take it for granted. Because when I passed there and I look, there's nothing done. So it's
Mhm.
been what? I lost in 2011.
Yes.
New MP has been there since then. It tear out my heart, chop on my not telling a lie. I
But
understand why crime has risen back in some of those communities because there's no leadership. But what is more troubling to me is when I go into spaces that was held by former prime minister
mhm.
and I see the state of roads and I see the state of land settlement. I'm not hold on a second, but this is where the prime minister was, wasn't it? Hmm?
Mhm.
And then who was there after was a deputy gent, was a leader within that party.
Yes.
The point I'm making is you're not seeing the connectivity because the person who has replaced me as MP is a regional chairman.
Right.
And certainly, if you look at 1997 to 2011 and compare 20, let's stick to 2012, 2012 to 2023. How much year that, Bridget? 12 year? Hmm?
12 years. Yes.
And go back through the place then and tell me what difference you see. It
And that's the
hurt me.
problem we have.
It
It
hurt
kind
me
of,
because it means we're
yes.
taking people for granted. You understand? And
Mhm.
part of the challenge we face, pardon me, as Labour Party now is that people are taken with the hope that we have provided, having come from that first term, 2016. And I
Mhm.
expect us now to solve all the problems within this 2020 to 2025 time. And it's not possible to do that. But chop up, Paddy, watch your name, man. Everywhere I go in Jamaica, buildings are going up.
Yes.
It's the most
Development is
remarkable
high.
thing.
Mhm.
Everywhere I go, may I go through standpipe today. And as me I come up to the deep corner before you start climbing the rise, me look at
Yeah.
my left, me say backside. No man building that there so. When that
Yes.
go? Me go through Stock Farm Road. Them say, hold on a second. One,
Apartments
two,
like
three.
crazy. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
look here. It's it's a great signal because it means there is confidence in the country.
Yes, and that's the thing. The level of confidence in the business community. But Sharon, there's still this argument though, because
Yes,
we've been having a running debate about it, because while we can see it with our naked eyes that things are happening, the country is moving, there's development, there's jobs, lowest unemployment in Jamaica's history, lowest
true,
debt to GDP,
true, true.
prime down by 13-14%. These are unprecedented time.
Yes.
But Sharon, there's still this concern and this argument about nothing on go on. Nothing nah, go on.
No, no, because you see, who is saying that is the people who are used to living easy. They're used to having their reps make sure that they get a little something. You understand?
Yes,
No,
yes.
you can't keep giving a man a fish. That gonna make you dry, you know. What has happened is that, meaning you as leader, if you constantly are doing that, then your energy is only in feeding a man, not in
Right.
providing opportunity for a man to feed himself or a woman to feed herself and her family. And this is the difference of what is happening within the Jamaica Labour Party government now. Because when you hear Hendrickson, who is
Mm-hmm.
rebuilding, the family is rebuilding the Wyndham Hotel, and saying, what you're in a party? We don't have enough skill based workers right now, you know. You have to understand that we have to pull some in, you know, because we need it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if you go Manchester, building a go up. If you go Clarendon, building a go up. If you
But
go
Sharon,
Trelawney, building a
Sharon,
go up. But
listen.
look, one
Mhm.
last point I want to make, Chopper, before you move. The link now for me is how we are ensuring that heart can pick up those persons who need the certification. We
Mhm.
see it happening for what we're doing with government campus and the building of the houses of parliament. People are anxious for the training. They've started to do the pre-training with heart already, preparing to move on to the next modules of the carpentry and the tiling and the electrical work and the electronic work. There is such a wind of change. I have so much hope and belief in my country. Can I confess? My son want me to come to Canada. I said, go where? No, Paddy, me not going nowhere. I will
Well,
come and look for my grand picnic them, but me not handed it. Okay, plus it's too cold. Even though you're
well,
hot right now.
well,
I
you know where
believe
I
in
came
my
from.
country of choice, Chopper.
You know,
I'm not
you
living anywhere
know,
else.
you know, and everybody on this live know that me being in Jamaica is a matter of choice. I choose
Right.
to come home
True. True.
because I was living in a first world country, quite comfortable. Drive luxury car, live in a big house, live good lifestyle.
Mm.
Right here is where there's no place like Jamaica.
True.
And one of the things I am impressed with is the fact that the country is getting safer. The country is feeling different. The lifestyle you would live in North America, no. It's not too far from where we are now. We're getting there now. Not saying that we are perfect, but with 15 and 14% down in murders and
Yes.
dangerous crimes down.
Right. Right.
Celebrate, man. Jamaica Labour Party today, Sharon, turns 80.
Yes.
Um, they some of the most significant things in the country's achievement since adult suffrage would have been achieved under JLP government.
We lay the foundation, schools.
Yes,
Part of the
yes,
reason why we get called dirty labor right now is because we did
mhm,
the dirty work to build the country.
absolutely,
Drain,
absolutely.
road, school. You
Yes,
understand?
only government. You remember that?
Six gully government, 60
Yes,
primary school, 126 secondary schools.
yes,
We built Cornwall Regional,
yes,
Bustamante Hospital for Children, built
yes.
and certified UE Hospital from UCC, for those who remember that was a kind of some time ago.
Yeah, UCC. I mean, that was a
I'm
West
telling
Indies
you.
College, right?
Yeah, I remember my first teaching job was 1985
Mhm,
at CAS then. And I remember there was this whole fear amongst the lecturers when Heart was launched by
mhm,
Mr. Thiago. And funny enough, I ended up being the coordinator for the link between the community colleges and our program because what the college had to recognize was that we needed partnership. If you
mhm.
are the polytechnic and that's his heart, there had to be a connection to allow the credits from there to come forward. So we had the first year program time with the community college and
Mhm.
allow then those students to be able to come in to get into the BTEC program and get into other programs on campus. So what it did was to set a foundation and begin some conversations of change. And that is
Mhm.
more of what is happening now. That's more of what is happening now for us in our country.
So has heart changed anything to answer to that loud cry about the lack of skilled laborers in Jamaica right now?
We're back into the community talking to people, and there are far more programs on board now, and people are applying and joining the programs. And what I find interesting is that when you use a term, a bucket and shovel man,
Yeah.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
understands what it is that even if he or she, because you have bucket and shovel women too, he or she that can't read, they need to understand that must be certified, site ready.
Yes.
And that once that is there, then they can continue their education because it says I have a heart certificate, I am work ready. And
And you find so,
that
yeah,
changes their attitude.
because there's an issue, Sharon, and I've seen it firsthand because
Yeah.
I'm very pretty close to the persons who are doing the contractors who are doing the
Oh yes, the road work and Cornwall Regional, right.
right.
Must
And I
commend you
see it
on that.
first.
Must commend you on that, chopper. Not everybody willing to take on site work and leadership. Is a rough place to be.
It's a rough terrain. It's a rough terrain, but it exposes it to a
It
different side of
works
things.
well, isn't it?
Yes, because I'm now able to speak to the fact that when I hear people talk about the lack of skilled labor in Jamaica, I can speak to it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And the difficulty and the challenge you have in getting skilled labor on those sites. I remember just recently, MP Hira Clark would have hosted Heart in several communities throughout his constituency,
Yes, I
trying
know.
to
We got those
sensitize
reports because
to do it.
we are following the program that he's doing. For our
Right,
program for the new parliament and the government campus and the new fire
right.
station that we're
Yeah.
building around Heroes Park.
So what happened when they brought Heart in and they set up shop in various communities, trying to get locals to get registered and to get them certified and to get them in a system so they can be employed. And there was a difficulty in actually finding people. So I
Mm,
said, because, and then even for the new perimeter road that is being built now,
yes.
that same approach was taken.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult to find persons to buy into it because, one, the few persons who are unemployed, the honest truth, Sharon, they don't want to be employed.
That's true.
And that's just the reality. There are some
That's
persons
true.
who, they're
True.
going to be counted among the persons who are not employed, not because they cannot be employed, but because they simply don't want to be employed.
True.
They
Them
might
used to
have
just
other means
living.
of,
The
yeah,
a man just
but
a do a thing.
exactly.
If
But
I
when
might
it comes to,
interrupt there, if I might
go ahead.
interrupt and give you an example, Chopper. I
Mhm.
remember got a job for a man in village, cross the road, one of the factory. So after the first 2 days, I said, Mum, I can't go back here. I can't manage just wake up early in the morning and the online. I can't manage it. Man, you have to get something from him. I can't manage this. At least he was honest. So I
Just
call
tell us,
back the employer and say, sorry, no, you can take somebody else for me. I'm sorry, I appreciate that the man come to me and said that, and that I could come back to him and say, look here, Chop and I'll come back tomorrow. I can't manage to work, but I have an ex youth
yeah,
who really
yeah,
want to work. Give him a chance. That you get a boss on him good to this day. Can I tell you?
yeah. Yeah.
Attitude is everything in
It's
life.
everything, man, and it says a
Mm.
lot. These folks are just not. Um, they're, I've seen some who came on site and they said, "Look, we're trying to get a job," and you bring them there, and when they come on board and you see them apply themselves. They're hungry for it, and they're not leaving. There's a couple of guys there who came on, and they've been there for about a year now.
Oh,
And let me tell
nice.
you,
Have
they're
they stepped
holding
up?
on.
Have they
Oh
stepped
yeah,
up their heart learning?
oh yeah,
Oh,
and the salary is not
wonderful,
bad. It's like
wonderful.
these guys are going home with $250,000
That's a
every month.
party. Oh, you not bring them on the program. Go on site and do a program from site, no man.
Well, that's
Hey,
true. I mean, we ought to
come on.
expose some of these guys, and we're gonna do it. But
You
these
can
are
tell
guys,
you can tell us anything, Chopper. Nothing
yes,
beats live reporting. And the
that
great
is true.
thing
That is
now,
true.
you got your phone, you set up your tripod stand, sit down at a little table and say, Brethren, talk to me. What is the story?
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna get them on. I mean, some of them
Good.
were on the other day on the program. They watch the program too.
Ah, I missed
These
that. Okay.
guys, these guys are solid, and they basically they are like the model for that particular site.
Okay.
Now, the perimeter road, which just got it's in the process now, just got started. They're finding it very difficult and challenging to get people. They can't.
Meaning people in and around Mobile.
Well, a matter of fact, we're not even limiting the employment to Montego Bay. The employment is open. If you're a Jamaican and you live in Timbuktu and you want to work, come work.
Are you sure people are hearing though?
Yes, man,
Maybe
because we are sending the message all over. We're not
mm,
limiting the advertisement and the promos to just local. We're sending
mm,
it all over.
okay.
And it's a challenge. As a matter of fact, the Chinese contractors will have to bring labor in very soon, because if not,
Really?
oh yeah,
Wow.
they will have to. There's no if ands, or
Wow.
buts about it,
Wow.
because we cannot find the amount of local labor that is needed. When I say local labor, we're not talking about laborers per se. We're talking about skilled laborers, carpenters, masons, tilers. They were not at tiling yet, but steel workers. It's difficult to find them. Very difficult to find them. Um, I don't know why these guys are so excited about information, and they have enough information they can't even file over it. But that's okay. But yeah, Sharon, we are doing much better. After 80, I think we're in a good spot, and I think we have a
Yes,
lot to
I
celebrate as a
agree with
country.
you. I agree with you. And I was in high school in the 1980s. I
Mhm,
wore a green uniform. And buddy,
mhm,
I had to be careful where I go. I went to St. Hugh's. There
mhm.
were friends of mine who
Yeah,
lived in Jones Avenue, which is behind where I have my constituency
your
office.
office used to be behind Jones Avenue.
And
Yeah,
and them could not wear
the
them
infamous Jones Avenue, right?
uniform to school. It got cut off of them.
The
I want you
infamous
to
Jones
understand what I'm
Avenue.
saying.
The
Eh?
infamous Jones Avenue.
What you say about Jones Avenue?
The infamous Jones Avenue.
Aye. Well, I tell you something. I didn't have that experience of it
Mhm,
while I was there. You know when you're in spaces and you know it have an energy. But I never had that. And maybe because I worked between the elements that were there, because
mhm,
Jones Avenue Top, Jones Avenue Middle, Backland, Them Chapin, uh, Shelter Rock, all have their
mhm.
own challenges. I well remember one day doing a peace walk up in there and they put up a zinc fence. And I said, no, man, we're going to take this down. Party, yo, as I touched the zinc, I want grab me, a woman, grab me and said, no, Mr. Said, do a beggar. You cannot move that. If you move that, you're allowing a man to just walk through the place. Just, I said, but look, man, where am I? He said, don't worry about it. It make a difference. It came down after a while, though, but it took time. It took time. And I found the same thing with Matchpen when I had to do work in there. You just had to sit down with people and work the thing through. Conversations make a difference, Chopper.
Big
When
difference.
when
Yes, that's true.
when other communities were top of the crime chart, me not going call them name. Every week I had to be in deputy commissioner's office on a Tuesday morning. I mean just saying something, man. Yo, I can't deal with this no more. Come man, call in all bad man. 28 of them. We said, come and sit down with me. No, yeah,
Yes.
28 of them. We said, put on your phone over there, sir. Say, look, see mine over there. Only we in here chat 1 hour me
Mhm.
want. It was a Friday.
I've had a delay there with Sharon. Let's see if we're gonna get her back up in a quick second. The song tight, folks. We're talking with Sharon here, Webster, um, former member of parliament, and she's now a vital player in the Jamaica Labour Party secretariat. And she's talking to us about Jamaica Labour Party's 60, sorry, 80, and how things are looking. Um, we see Sir Joe. Let's see if we can bring Sir Joe on. Um, yeah, there's a little bit of, yeah, man, your background's a little bit dark there, my brother. I can't see at all. I can't hear from you.
Setting up
Let's
my
bring you back
lighting
up.
a minute. Just setting up my lighting. Hold on.
All right, but as we set up the light and as we look forward to get Sharon back on, I think Sharon has lost her connection there. But Steve Nugent, I want to just address something that you're saying here. You keep typing about the information minister and you need a different information minister and all that stuff. Listen, man, let me explain something to you. One of the things that we should not do is try to tear one down to build another. And I'm going to say this to you on open field. Yeah, an information minister is not just somebody who has the ability to communicate. There's a lot more that goes into information ministry and information minister, Steve. The current information minister is a very good friend of mine. And the gentleman who you're referring to now as who you would love to see to become information minister, Apka Fisenli, is also a very good friend of mine. And Apka is an excellent communicator as well. I don't know who told you that Apka has any interest in becoming information minister. And you have to be mindful that Apka just got into the Senate. Apka need to get himself familiarized with certain things before you throw him into the den, basically. So I would caution my brother to slow down a little bit and appreciate where we are today in communication. Jamaica Labour Party years ago was seen as one of the poorest communicator, and today we are at a better place, a very much better place. I'm not saying that we are perfect. I'm not saying that the current minister is the best there is, but the truth is we have seen significant improvement in the level of communication that the JLP has had over the years. Yes, there's room for growth and there's room for development, but we should never ever deny the fact that we're at a better place than we were years ago. Big bro,
What's going on, man?
your party is now 8 years old, man. Talk to us. What's going on?
8 years. Very successful 8 years.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I am
For those who
proud.
don't know, this is a great Chuck Finley. This is a great Chuck Finley.
I am proud to call
Yes.
myself not only a supporter, but a member of the Labour Party.
Yes.
A card-carried member of the Labour Party.
Yes.
Right. And that was by choice. I was not forced to say Labour Party. I chose to do it.
Mhm.
Right. So it's my choice. And looking at where Jamaica is today, I mean, it just proved that the choice was correct. Right. And Sharon said a few moments ago that majority of the people here out there decrying the state of the country not go on. Those are the handout persons.
Yes.
Right? Those are the handout persons saying they're not getting any more handout. That is the complaint. Right? But our country is now in a state where I don't think people understand the significance of coming from paying 68 cents out of every dollar to now paying 28.
Service
People
debt.
understand
Yes, the service
the
debt.
service
Yes,
debt.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
The Minister of Finance said within 2 years we're gonna come out from under the FinSac. Right? Right. That is an albatross that has been holding us down.
Yeah, man. The debt servicing was an issue. It has been an issue under both. And by the way, folks, Sharon has lost her connection there. I think she had a power cut or something to that effect. So she might not be able to join us back, but if she can, she will. Yeah, that has been a problem, my brother.
Yes. That has robbed us of so many development. Right? That has robbed us from building new hospital, building new school. It has robbed us of paying our public sector more. Right? And people don't seem to understand the gap that we are closing in and now. Jamaica, for the first time, is able to fund capital projects on our own.
Yeah, man, that is true.
Right,
and these are things, Chuck. These are some of the things that people fail to recognize. I mean, Rashima, Abraham, my good friend Steve Nugent. These are some of the things that we fail to recognize. Instead, what we would rather do is to start an issue within our own party as
Yes.
to who needs to go win or not.
Exactly.
That to me is a non-issue.
That is
What we need to focus on now is the fact that we are in a better space than we were 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago, you know, Chuck, having a debt to GDP of double digit was a dream.
Was a dream. We are coming from 165% to now we are 10%.
People don't recognize these things, you know.
We are
The lowest
10% shy
unemployment rate
of
in
the
Jamaica's
global
history.
standard.
Brethren, the lowest unemployment rate in Jamaica's history. And instead, we would want to use all of this. And instead of celebrating it at 80, we want to use this opportunity now to set the cat among the pigeons. It's to start looking the party. You know, and I say this to you, Steve, part of the problem with Jamaica Labour Party, you know, my brethren, and what really hurt us back in the 90s, wasn't that the PNP was good at governing, you know, or it wasn't that the PNP did an excellent job, you know. We stayed in a position for 18 years because we were divided.
We were our worst enemy.
At this point now, this government now is doing what no other government has done in Jamaica's history.
Right. Yes.
We have to celebrate that, my brethren. That is something for us to rally around. And if there's weakness or if there's weak points within, we shore them up and push them forward.
Chopper, let me tell you one of our downfall. We had probably one of the strongest online presence between
ever in the history. But hold on, Steve Nugent is saying he agrees with me, but what he wants to is for information to go out to the people. Well, Steve, let me tell you this, man. And no matter how we slice and dice it, there has never ever been a time that information about the Jamaica Labour Party government, there has never been any other time that we have had information going. Steve, you're a part of some groups where information drop every single day.
Let me say this to
Steve.
Steve.
It's unfair for you to say that.
In the history, the Jamaica Labour Party and the government which we form has never been able to depend on our news media to bring out any positive thing about us.
Hold on a second. And Chuck, I'm going to address Steve again. Steve, it is the first time that we now have a show on Cliff Hughes, Ask the Minister. And we still have another show on Love FM. Love is the second most popular radio station in Jamaica. And we have a program on there that I think the name of that program is hosted by the Minister of Information.
I don't know. I didn't name slipping, but I know the program.
One is Ask the Minister, and the other one is oh Lord, somebody remind me what the name of that program. Good Morning Minister. Good Morning Minister is on Love FM. Ask the Minister is on Nationwide. There is Christopher Tufton on RGR. Right? We have online presence. We have now mapped out and carved out a way into TikTok that the Jamaica Labour Party messaging on TikTok is ahead of the PNP. We already control Twitter. We already control Facebook. So we can talk and we can say all we want to say. But the reality is that the Jamaica Labour Party is communicating wider and better than it was 10 years ago. I will not tell you that it's perfect. And if you
Chopper,
put 10 at the air, it will not be
we
perfect.
we will never get it perfect. But where
we
we are
are
now,
doing much better. And whenever
just
we are doing better, we must acknowledge it, man.
we must acknowledge it.
We
And
must
I don't.
acknowledge it, my brethren. We must
Yes, man.
acknowledge it. There was a time, when we could say, boy, yo, listen, I remember, not so long ago, probably 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we never used to have post-cabinet press briefings.
Right.
We never used to have them. We used to have them every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
When the ministry was under the former Minister of Education, Royal Reid, we never used to have anybody there. Even when Faval had it, we never used to have anybody. It was very rare that we had press briefing. No, we have it more consistently. We must celebrate
the only time we used to have press briefing back then is when we were fighting off some farmer scandal or the other. That was it.
But Steve, and that is what we are doing. These groups that are disseminating information, they're not just there because they're there, I am saying to you, while the communication is not perfect, but it has improved tenfold. You know where I come from, Steve? You remember there was a time when the right hand don't know what the left hand know? Think about it. There was a time when the right hand don't know what the left hand know. There was a time when people were bungling too, because there was a time when the messaging was never controlled. So everybody was just out there speaking and everybody was talking. No, you see where there's some semblance of coordination in messaging.
I think Steve sounds like he's a new supporter of the party.
No, man, Steve is a long time supporter, but I think Steve has gotten caught up with this from APCA came in to the Senate. APCA has a very good communicator, excellent communicator, and I think it was a stroke of genius when we could attract somebody from corporate Jamaica like APCA Fitzgerald to join the Jamaica Labour Party. That was excellent. But I don't think by him coming in, we're now going to automatically say, oh, because he's into communication, because he's a good communicator, because he's a journalist, he must be the minister.
Chopper,
yes.
I don't think people see the link between the new remuneration package and our ability to access somebody like APCA to actually come into the public sector and serve.
But
okay.
APCA being in is a great thing. But I don't know if people are saying this. Who says APCA want to even become the Minister of Information? Who says that? So these are things we have to.
Presently,
I don't think it's
we
up
have
to us.
a Minister of Information.
Right, and we should not create divide where there's no divide.
Party. Thank
we
you.
shouldn't do it.
There's no available. We have a minister. We have a very Chopper. We have a very busy Minister of Information.
But not
we have
only
a very
that,
accessible Minister of Information.
One of the things, Chuck, is that if it is that APCA will serve, and I don't know why people don't think. We need to start thinking, guys. Think about it. There are some excellent communicators in the Jamaica Labour Party today. There are some excellent communicators in the Jamaica Labour Party right now. Before APCA even came in. Before he came in. So we don't need to entertain that. We don't need to create our own divide. We need to just relax and support the team that is changing.
That we have in place. Let's not go back.
Moving Jamaica forward.
Let's not go back to being our worst enemy.
Jamaica is not perfect, brethren. There's no aspect of governance today, Chuck, that is perfect. No aspect of it.
No aspect.
But the truth is, when you compare where we are today to where we
were, it is
an
amazing.
We're 80 today, Steve. At 80, and Jamaica is 74% debt to GDP, lowest unemployment rate, infrastructure development unprecedented, crime down, murder down. It's a lot for us to celebrate.
And I want to let, but Chopper, if people look at the murder rate and the amount of is our domestic violence situation that is driving up the murder rate, you know. The gang wars are actually on the decline, you know.
Yeah, the gang wars on the decline. I mean, the police infiltrating that one clansman, one what do you call it? One
One
another.
other.
No, the
Yes.
clansman thing there, and bringing them to trial under the anti-gang legislation. That to me has acted as a deterrent to a lot of youths. I'm not
So,
saying that it is the antidote, but it has done a
no.
lot of damage to society and some of these young people.
Again, a sign
Yeah,
that we are heading in the right direction.
right. And we are seeing it. We are seeing it.
Right. This people keep saying that the prime minister said we are gonna see if we do a open. It is a process, not a switch.
You don't switch it on and go see if the door open, man. But
Thank
there
you.
are
It's
persons
a
who are sleeping with the
process.
doors open in Jamaica. There are a lot of people who sleep with the door open in Jamaica.
Yes,
I mean,
that's a people.
crime in Jamaica is not random, you know. There's no drunk or crazy person who goes in a church and just fire some shot. It doesn't happen like that in Jamaica. Crime in Jamaica is organized, and usually it affects persons who are involved. If you're not involved, then you are close to somebody who is involved.
Right.
So let's not even look at it as being random. In the United States, a man buy a gun and walks into a school and shoot it up. We don't have a lot of that in Jamaica, thank God.
We don't have that. We have incidents in school, but we don't have mass shootings.
Exactly. So I said to the folks who are so desirous of
people don't understand that in the great United States, you know, there has almost been 1,000 mass shooting this year alone, you know.
Just for the year alone. But
yes,
nobody's
almost
talking about that.
1,000 mass shootings.
Nobody talks about that because
for this year alone, and we are barely 7 months in.
But nobody is talking about the fact that we are 7 months in with 14% or 13% reduction in murder. We have never seen that. We have seen reduction in murder. It happens in the first
quarter
of the year.
And then normally it slip back into rotation.
I had a discussion recently with Tyrone Reed on Nationwide, and he fails to believe that the reduction is an actual reduction because it was just the first 2 months. This is a discussion that I had with him in February, and he would never accept that it was a real reduction because he said it wasn't a trend. No, it wasn't a trend. So I asked him what would be a trend. He said if it goes into the second quarter, 6 months and beyond, then you could consider it a trend. So I'm very excited because I want to have a conversation with him this week. And to ask him, now that we are in the second quarter, we have cleared 6 months of the year, and we are moving forward. We're in the 7th month now. Is it safe to say that the reduction that we're seeing is now a trend? Right?
But Chopper, talking to the same Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed is saying that with all our positive, you know, he's of the opinion that Jamaica is heading in the wrong direction. His words, not mine. With all our positive, our debt to GDP, our reduction in debt payment, our reduction in crime, Mr. Reed said all that achievement is the wrong direction.
Which is sort of crazy. I mean, how do you really and truly? I mean, wrong direction. What are you expecting to go? If you go in the opposite direction, it means that you would increasing in you would be looking to increase murders because if you're declining and it's not the right direction, then
the point is that
in the right direction.
The point is that a person like a Tyrone Reed who has a massive platform,
yes,
to be out there saying that all this is wrong, people are gonna listen to him, you know, and then people's gonna run away and say Tyrone Reed say it. Right? Yeah. So we as supporter at the party have to do our part. Because we say mainstream media not help with.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, you know. And you know what is so funny, you know? And when we talk about communications, people don't understand that even with the best message, even with the greatest communication team, when you have the odds against you in mainstream media, like we have in Jamaica, the Jamaica Labour Party have, we are now busy, Steve, creating our own network of communication, because if we don't do so, we'll never get the message out there. And that is why you have all these new programs and initiatives to get information in the hands of people.
Because, Chopper,
I find it. Go ahead.
Is misinformation we are fighting against, you know.
And that's a war out there. I mean, you're coming into
not only misinformation, you have something that we call out of context information is dangerous too.
Man, let me tell you something. AI, we're fighting a war, an info war, right? We're fighting an info war that this is not something for the average guy to fight.
No.
Right? And this is something that we must know. And when you're fighting these kind of war, and I say war guidedly, you know, because we're not talking about physical war.
No.
But you're in a space where the tide, you're swimming upstream. Remember,
yes.
you know, the Jamaica Labour Party was in opposition for 18 and a half years in a virgin.
But Chopper,
you're dealing with a political opposition that had the opportunity to build out their communication through traditional media for years. So it's not easy to do that. It's not easy. But Chuck, as usual, brethren, enough respect for coming through.
Yes, man.
We're going to try and link up with the minister, because, as usual, you know the minister.
Yeah, man. Bring out the minister. And congratulate him, man, because right now we are better armed. We are now better armed in the battle.
No ifs, ands, or buts. No ifs, ands, or buts. No ifs, ands, or buts. So big up yourself, brethren. Enough respect.
Listen, sir.
And again, thank you for coming through. Minister, with no further ado, I like your background. 80 and strong.
Well, it's the 80th anniversary, so we have to go green. Yeah.
Blessings, and I appreciate you coming through. Thank
you for having me. Thank you for having me. And
it's usually easy, Minister. One thing I'll say to you, know, is that access to you as a Minister of Information is like I've never seen it before. And I have to give you credit for that, because sometimes it's like swimming upstream in these fields. Talk to us. Jamaica Labour Party turns 80, man.
Well, it's the 80th anniversary. We had a church service this morning. This evening, the Prime Minister launched this scholarship. We're giving away 80 grants. We're also giving away some scholarships to some stalwarts. And we'll send out the videos so you can have the details of it. But it's a very important anniversary, as it's 80 years for any organization is a very long time. Not many organizations are able to celebrate 80 years. And the Jamaica Labour Party has been able we started out with the Bustamante Industrial Trades Union in the 1930s to form in the party in 1943, helping to write the Constitution of Jamaica in 1962 with the leadership of Edward Seaga, the most significant growth the country has ever seen. In 1972, we grew by about 12%. And then, you know, we had that little period between 72 and 80 where we had a serious destruction in the country.
That's a little period, you know, Robert. That's a very significant period in Jamaica's development, you know.
Well, a lot of people don't even remember it. And that's one of the challenges we have as a country, where
lost that period. That's a missing period, really.
A lot of people don't remember the history. Then in the 80s, Mr. Seaga came back. You know, one of the interesting stories about the 80s.
Yes.
So we had a Category 5 hurricane in the
Gilbert, 12 of September.
And it wrecked the country, and we were able to bring back the country to a great extent very quickly. But we lost an election, and I think That's one of the lessons that we have to learn as a political party. Um, as a political party, just doing good things does not win elections. Um, People have very short memories. People do not remember, for example, that 40,000 businesses were
Went
destroyed
on them
under
in the
FinSat.
90s.
People do not remember, for example, that between 2013 and 2015, public sector workers got zero increase in their salaries. People do not remember that the only government who gave the police increases twice, big increases, was the JLP government in 2009 and now in 2023. And because people have short memories, people forget that the conditions in St. Thomas now are challenging because of the roads. But they don't remember how it was before the road started
Right.
here. And the road is gonna be finished. What are they gonna say when the roads are done? When I went to do a town hall in St. Thomas in 2018, they never had data. They never had what fiber optic data. We had to run a line. We had to pay flow to run a line from Morant Bay all the way out to Goodyear, so we could live stream the town hall meeting. Now there's a big development taking place at Goodyear where we're building a brand new town center for St. Thomas, where NCB is going to be there, RGD and a lot of government agencies are going to be there. Even GIS is now opening an office in St. Thomas. This is the first office that GIS has opened in decades. Remember, GIS closed down most of their regional offices. So people have a lot of short memories. People forget that there was a time when the guys in Montego Bay were hanging up heads in front of the police station.
Oh yeah, I'm pushing them on hand carts.
The guys with them name unknown. People forget that there was a time when police used to just run into communities and kill people. People forget Crawl.
Yes.
Valley.
Yes.
When was the last time you heard of police kicking up people on the road? Or when was the last time you hear police just go into a community and start shoot people, kill them?
Yeah, you'll find a few random
when
incidents.
somebody go talk about Jamaica is heading in the wrong direction, which direction is that? Because if crime is down by 16%, unemployment is down to record levels there. And here's the joke about it. There are more people employed now than at any other time in the history of Jamaica, which means that more people are seeking jobs, more people are getting jobs. That has never happened before, right? When we came in, debt to GDP was like 140%.
Yes, coming from 140.
74. What does that mean? It means I now have more money to spend on the roads in my constituency. It means I now have more money to spend on the hospitals because I'm not using all of that money paying debt.
Right.
I remember the opposition leader said we should take $40 billion out of that money,
You understand what that means, though, Nesta?
Sure.
You see that $40 million suggestion is not something new to the PNP's policy, If you go back to the 1970s, my brother, we had significant growth. You are saying it was 12%. I am sticking to my 18.01% because that's what the record says. 18.01% in 1972. And by 1974, we were broke. You know why? That exact same policy that he's suggesting to your government now, that you should remove.
This person say, hold on, may I read the comments them and I'm more and deal with the comments them tonight.
Yes.
St. Thomas never have high school until 1965.
That is Abraham Thomas.
Who was government in 1965? Who was government in 1965, Chopper?
Well, the Jamaica Labour Party was government in 1965.
Jamaica Labour Party between 1962 and 1972 built over 50 schools.
No, they
No
built
other
58 secondary school and 128 primary school.
Nobody has ever built as many schools as the Jamaica Labour Party. As a matter of fact,
Absolutely right.
PNP has never built a hospital in this country.
Never ever.
And I want whoever on the comments to challenge that. We're talking facts now. It's the 80th anniversary. We're not taking no disrespect.
Yeah, man. Let's deal with facts. Abraham, talk to me.
Nobody, no PNP has ever built a hospital in Jamaica.
Not one.
Let us go even further. Only one government has ever loaded street people into a truck back and dumped them into the mud lake.
Only one.
Right?
Only one.
Which government was that, Chopper?
There's another. There wasn't a government. They're not government now. They're opposition.
Only one set of people.
It was done in the city of it was done in Montego Bay. It's Montego Bay.
Abraham Thomas said PNP finished Cornwall.
Well, all right, Abraham. So who started? Who started, my brother?
They finished Cornwall.
Come on, Abraham. Who started?
Colin Williams remind me about Green Bay, where innocent men were lured into Green Bay and shot and killed.
Yes. Yes.
They were shot and killed at Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Eden Tide home.
Yes.
Where they locked the grill. So the people,
old people and children.
And they lit the place. Mm-hmm. Why you think Spanish Town have so much labor right? You think they went there voluntarily? When they kicked them out of Kingston, they had nowhere else to go.
You know, Minister,
Spanish Town.
There's a little place. There's a little place when you leave Tavares Market at 3 Mile. When you leave there, there's like a zinc fence before you get to Red Stripe going down there.
Orlando Peter said we're not for waste time, so we're not wasting time.
That is true. That's probably a good idea.
So there's been a lot of talk, and I think I need to address it, Chopper.
Yes.
Now we're not focused on Maxine, we're not focused on anybody, we're just giving information. I became Minister of Information in January 2022. Since I've been Minister of Information, we keep post-cabinet press briefing every Wednesday at 8 a.m. in the morning. That has never happened before. It is on Facebook, it is on YouTube, it is on PBCJ, it is live. Anyone who wants to get any information about what the government is doing can tune into Postcap. I've also launched Good Morning Minister, and I've also launched Ask the Minister. I'm not on Ask the Minister. What Ask the Minister is last week we had RGD. The week before that, I think we had with another agency, and we've had several different agencies coming on giving people valid information about things that can help them as citizens of Jamaica. We also have Good Morning Minister on Love FM, which is one of the most popular stations in the country, and different persons from government. Last week we had CPFSA here, people talking about children who end up at Port Henderson Road. That's why we had her there, so that they could talk about it, right? So we've had numerous initiatives. We also are always on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. I go live on TikTok all the time, answering questions. I'm now on Chopping Block, answering questions. I don't think there has ever been an information minister who has been as accessible as I am. I'm on every radio station whenever they call me. I'm in the newspapers, I'm on TV. I go on there and Jackson Miller, I give in the information. So the issue with information though, Chopper, is this. If people are paid $10,000 a week to set up fake accounts on TikTok, and when you put up something on TikTok, they don't have anything to say, they just say a lie or tell. And you have 50 of them who are paid $10,000 a week come under your post and say a lie or tell. If the people who want the information are not wise they would think that they would think that that the thing is negative. So let me give you an example. When the whole thing with the salaries thing came up, I was very concerned because I went on Twitter and I went on these things and I saw a lot of accounts saying all sorts of things about the government. When I click on a lot of the accounts, they have 0 followers and the account private and they don't have any videos on TikTok.
You came
When
out
I
from one
went
objective.
when I went to Clarendon and I asked the people, I want to think about the salary business. I said, boy, Mr. Morgan, we're glad to get more money, because you get more money if you spend with we. And the mistake a lot of people make, is that you think that because somebody says something on TikTok or on Twitter, it reflects the true nature of people. A lot of these people are paid to come on social media.
Mhm.
I never get chopper a dollar yet.
Never.
And I have a rule as a Minister of Information and as chairman of the JLP PR committee that I'm not playing, not a blogger. Because how am I gonna know if Chopper deserve a 10 grand versus a next blogger who deserve 20 grand? And we
Exactly.
had situations in the past where we saw on Facebook where persons from the other side were cussing about who get more money than who. You have never seen any blogger can come out and say the JLP pay them to blog.
And but this pain thing is years now we've been debating this too,
Remember wars, fight, Chopper,
Wars
wars were
fight, yeah.
fought because I was adamant that I am
Yeah.
not paying anybody
Yeah.
to go on social media to blog. People hate me for it, but it's a stance I take because I think, right? I think that if you're gonna defend your party, if I have to pay to defend your party, you don't need to do it because being a commenting on Twitter should not be your career.
Yeah.
Commenting on social media should not be a business, right? And we maintain that position.
And I support that
And I
position.
remember Velrose Mckinnon remind us that Crystal Tomlinson sent a letter to the leader said she need propaganda money. I have never asked Andrew Williams for propaganda money.
What's it called? Propaganda fund.
And never asked as Minister of Information and as JLP PR chairman, I have never asked the leader or the GenSec or the treasurer for any money to pay bloggers. And we're having serious conversations here tonight, Chopper.
Yeah, man. Factual
The biggest
conversation.
problems we are having is not that good things are not happening. Prime Minister spoke about the lamp that you put on the
Minister, do I get distracted by these comments?
Come on, put one. May I talk to you? The Prime Minister talk about the lamp that you put on the windowsill to shine your achievements.
Yes.
And I think that is where we need to go. The JLP, if you're going to count achievement to achievement, no other political party can compare. If you start from Negril Point to Moran Point, almost every single community in Jamaica has been touched by something good. First to Macfield, Westmoreland.
Yes.
You look upon the Essex Valley water system, first time in many years, many eras in St. Elizabeth. Junction just get water the other day under the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yes. Water is a big
Manchester.
issue, don't you, Minister? Water is a big issue.
Let me go through the island. Island. Manchester water project that is going on now. Never before in the history of Jamaica. Right? Clarendon, South Coast Highway, stretching from Mineralites, roundabout, all the way up to Winston Jones Highway. Never before in the history of Jamaica. Right? You come to St. Catherine and you see the significant work that is being done there. The park that is going to be built in Portmore. Bernard Lodge, the largest single housing development since Portmore. Bernard Lodge is now one of the biggest farming areas in the country.
Mhm.
You come to Kingston, remember what used to happen on Hagley Park Road? Remember
Yeah,
what
man.
used to happen on Constant Spring Road where you
Constant Spring
couldn't
Road,
reach
yeah.
home at evening time? Remember what used to happen at Barbican where you couldn't reach home at evening time? And we're gonna now extend Lady Musgrave to make it easier for people to travel.
Mhm.
Remember, everybody used to cuss that St. Thomas was the forgotten parish.
Yes.
Nobody never used to talk about St. Thomas. Now you have a road stretching from Harborview go all the way to Portland.
And what that does
You have in
for
a
land.
town center.
Yeah,
You cannot afford land in St. Thomas anymore, Chopper.
precisely.
Hotels
Value
are going
gone
to
up.
St. Thomas. Look at where we're going, Portland, the road going to Portland as well. Boundbrook Town Center that is going to happen in Portland. Look at the work that we are doing in St. Mary, new police station in St. Mary. We have built almost or repaired almost 200 police stations across the island. If the police stations were in a good condition when we got in power in 2016, why did we have to spend so much money, Chopper, to repair police stations? Why did we have to spend so much money to buy police cars? Why did we have to buy, as we come into office, we had to buy ballistic vests for the police because the ones that they had under Peter Bunting expired?
Mhm.
Where was the forensics? Where was the investigation?
Where was the additional police?
Where was, since we have been in power, we have moved the police force from 11,000 to 15,000. There was a point in time, Chopper, where more police were leaving the force than were entering the force.
Yeah.
Jamaica is moving in which direction?
Right direction, if you ask me.
Look at the hotels that are, you cannot find a hotel room in Ochi again because every day thousands of people are coming through the airport to vacation in Jamaica. So more people in Ochi have
Can I add
jobs.
to that? There was about 6 planes circulating the airspace just about 2 days ago. Couldn't find space on the ground to land. Just 2 days ago.
Look at the work that Tova is doing in Chilani.
Mm-hmm.
Roads that have not been fixed for 30 years.
30
Remember,
years.
Tova
Yes.
constituency was held by the PNP for decades. Why Tova have to be doing so much work since the place did so perfect, Chopper? Why she have to put in so much water? If the PNP left the country in such a good condition, why we are getting so much work for them?
But they are saying that if they come back, they can do better than the JLP now. What say you?
Why them never do better in the past?
No, they said they didn't have the money.
I can only judge a man based on his actions, you know. I cannot judge a man based on his words.
They said they didn't have the money, Minister.
Why didn't we have the money?
Well, they said circumstances beyond their control.
When we left government in 1972, we left a budget
1976.
surplus. 72.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah.
We left a budget surplus. Within 2 years, them spend it off.
$138 million.
When we left government in 1989, we had a stable exchange rate. Murders were 400 persons were murdered that year in 89.
Yes.
The dollar never did a slide. Businesses was blooming and flourishing. People were starting to believe in Jamaica again. Black business people were willing to invest in Jamaica again.
What happened after that, Minister?
There's a man who built a big hotel in Manor Park, a pink hotel.
Paul Chen Young.
Paul Chen Young.
Yes.
The police station in Maypen is now housed at the Eagle Building.
Wow. Eagle Merchant Bank.
Tried by the PNP and their policies. There's a man in Manchester who used to build transformers for JPS.
Yes.
He lost his house. There were people who committed suicide because of FinSac. There were people who were sitting down watching them TV with them pitney and the bank come in and measure up the house to sell it.
But they will tell you that those things
Norman
happen.
Brown, Chopper.
Yes.
Will tell you that he borrowed $10 million and paid back 25.
And still owe.
You know the stories.
Still owe.
Look at the work we're doing in St. James. When I went to St. James the last time, I couldn't recognize the place, the amount of hotel where I go up and building where I go up and house where I go up.
Mm-hmm.
When we came into Power Chopper in 2016, the PNP was building on average of 1,000 NHT houses, 1,400 NHT houses a year. This year we have built 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but we have reduced interest rate so that more people can afford an NHT house. Not only that, but people who are disabled now have a better chance of getting an NHT house.
But the opposition is saying to the Jamaican people that nothing now go on, Minister.
Nothing now go on for them.
Not trickle down.
Nothing now go on for them, because when I go into the communities, Chopper, and I listen to the people on the ground, the people when COVID took place, the hairdressers, the taxi drivers, the poor lady who couldn't get no food, and them said if I never did the Jamaica Labour Party government, I couldn't get a care package to survive. When we had give hairdresser money because them now get no client because of COVID, we had get taxi man money. We had get so many other people. $40 billion was given to people and there was no scandal.
Mm-hmm.
You hear Mr. Chopper?
Mm-hmm.
$40 billion was transferred from the government to ordinary Jamaicans. And you never hear the Auditor General come out and say none of the money thief.
But if you got free light bulb from Cuba, there's a different conversation that.
And people remember that, you know?
No.
The same man who was running to come back into the House of Parliament, when Clive Mullins got up and spoke about the Cuban light bulb scandal, he cried.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he was crying.
Your guess is as good as mine.
It's not light bulb alone. It's not light bulb alone, you know.
No, sir.
We have had challenges, Chopper. I could be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Well, on. We had some issues with Petrojam. And we had some issues at the Ministry of Education. When last year, no scandal in the Jamaica Labour Party government?
Well, to be honest with you, Minister, I don't know if what we're hearing or what we've heard were actually scandal. Because some of these...
ask a question. Tell me, them say, we are go straight down the line in a Chopper.
All right.
Them say, on social media, say, government corrupt. Mm-hmm. Tell me where. Remember, you have furniture scandal, net serve scandal, light bulb scandal.
Mm-hmm.
You did have street people scandal. You did have
Sandals White House.
NSWMA scandal. Sandals White House.
Mm-hmm. Traffic Bureau.
Pride scandal. Traffic Bureau scandal. We can't list them, enough of them, You understand? Enough of them. You hear nobody come out and say, Minister caught in this and Minister caught in that, because we know, Chopper, if you slip, you slide.
But they will tell you, Minister, the PNP that is, they will tell you that you've had issues because the Integrity Commission has launched investigation into several of your ministers.
Who are they?
Well,
and because you, so hold on. So
they have Leslie Campbell.
What did Leslie Campbell do?
I'm just
they asked the man for a letter to say him have what was the surrender cost for health insurance, and the man said to them, but the health insurance not the surrender cost.
Manufacture one.
Does health insurance have surrender? You know have health insurance? You have health insurance, Chopper?
Yes, sir.
Health insurance not have the surrender cost.
Last time I checked, it didn't have any. I don't know
if
it has
changed.
Probably it has changed. I need to double check.
Very easy, Chopper, for somebody to come on social media and say, I see this thing are growing with Juliet Wellness about truck. You think if Juliet Wellness them did 140 truck, the whole country don't know about it? The man go buy him truck them for doing business. Man truck now have nothing to do with politics. And him alone buy a truck. Enough people go down a tank well to buy.
But Minister, it tells you, if people have a problem with people investing in a country, investing in business, it's a policy of theirs to be anti-business.
I will tell you what it is, Chopper. The PNP cannot win with the truth.
Yes.
If the JLP and the PNP were to go in a debate right now and the issues that were debated was the truth,
They couldn't win.
they couldn't win. So what the PNP has decided to do is that they're gonna try and win an election with lies. They're gonna get all these bloggers with them pay to wrap them head and put pencil in them head like them a Pokemon and come and ball out them throat hole
Yes.
and
Who don't want at the front of the class? Have they called it to the front of the class yet?
Reputation. When they come and read and thing,
Yes.
and them depend them live, and we don't really like talk about them, because them not relevant. Because none of them never come on North Central yet, chopper. Them can't pass source up turn. And they come on live and they destroy people's reputations.
Yes.
And then when they check it out, nothing no go so.
But Minister, that is not.
The other day them said Nigel Clark they are Portland. I'm gonna call Nigel and I say Nigel. We never know say you have Villa or Portland. Nigel say about 2 years now him not go Portland. So they come on online chopper.
Yes.
And they tell lie upon people. And me never know say we reach a stage in Jamaica we lie was so easy. And people listen to the lie. And a lot of the people who listen to the lie, them not believe the lie, but them love the entertainment.
Yes. Yes. Because they go over there and they pack up over there, you know. Share the program, guys. There's some
And they
valid
make the
information.
mistake of thinking that they're popular. No, you're not popular. People just love a car crash.
They run to it.
People love physical car crash and mix up and met. But what I'm saying to people is that, and we're using your platform,
Yes.
ask yourself the question. If the PNP could win by the truth, why do they need to lie?
That is true. That's a very good question.
You have one of the wealthiest bankers in Jamaica leading the PNP, a man who was fingered in a contractor general report where it was said that his company got a sweetheart deal from the government. And he's going to come and talk to us about transparency and accountability. Have you ever heard of Andrew getting any sweetheart deal from nobody?
He got a sweetheart salary and he never take it. What happened?
You have another man who is the co-leader of the party who, when the crime rate lick him start cry and cry to Jesus, say him need help.
Divine intervention.
Have you ever seen Horace crying?
No, sir.
Sometimes Horace called me 3 o'clock in the morning and we had to try to strategize how we are going to help to make the country better. Me never hear Horace falter or wilter yet. Me never hear Andrew falter or wilter yet, chopper. My prime minister has never gone down on his knees and surrendered to the wicked people in this country who are trying to mash up a country. He has never done it. So when you look at the JLP at 80 years and you analyze where we are as a party,
yes,
and you look at the legacy, every time Jamaica calls for help, the JLP is there.
Every time. Always the JLP to the rescue.
2007, just before the economic crisis, Bruce Golding won. When the economic crisis hit, we went to the government bank account and it was empty. There was no money there to cushion the world economic crisis of 2008. Luckily, when the next crisis hit in 2020, we managed the economy so well that we never had to borrow $1
to recover,
to build a hospital, to buy no vaccine, to give out no money to people who never have no food. Think about what I just said to you a while ago, Chopper.
Yeah, man.
Compare 2007, 8, when we just coming up power. And because of the mismanagement of the PNP, we couldn't do much to help poor people in the crisis of the world economic collapse in 2008. We came into power again in 2016, and we were able to stabilize the economy between 2016 and 2020, so that when the COVID pandemic hit, we were able to not borrow any money, but to help so many thousands of Jamaicans. When it comes to human rights, Chopper, it is a JLP that formed the Charter of Rights. Under Edward Seaga, him push it, Bruce Golding pass it. It's a JLP that formed the Public Defender. It was the Jamaica Labour Party that set up Indicom.
Yes.
It was the Jamaica Labour Party that set up the Integrity Commission, because we said too much corruption are going on in the country.
But has that Integrity Commission, though, Minister? Has that in its current form now? Has it failed Jamaica?
I don't think it has failed. I think what is happening is that there are challenges with any new law. You're gonna have challenges because no human being is perfect and legislation is not perfect. So we're now in the process of review, which you have to review it every 5 years. And I think that's probably why you're hearing so much noise.
Do you think they have lost their relevance or credibility?
I think there are issues that they have. I think the way that they have functioned over the last several months. Let's give you a simple example. It might not sound important to people, but it's simple. How can an organization that spend $1 billion a year don't know the name of the Minister of Information? And don't know that it is the Minister of Information and not the Minister of Communication?
Yeah, something. Yeah, I saw that as
it tells you that. Imagine if I sent out a press release as the Minister of Information and misname the Prime Minister or misname another minister.
Or the opposition.
Imagine if I misname the leader of the opposition. But separate and apart from that, we should allow Parliament to do their job and go through the process to reform what needs to be reformed.
Yes.
I'm not going to get into an argument with the Integrity Commission because the Prime Minister tell you, we are the government. We don't need to argue with the entities that we
people who report to you.
You don't need to argue with people who report to you. You just do what you need to do.
Simple.
And that's a simple solution. Now, back to Jamaica, the 80th anniversary. Tomorrow,
yes,
various area councils will be having church services across the island. In Clarendon, we'll be having it for Area Council 3 at the St. Thomas More Catholic Church on Fernley Avenue. And several other area councils will be having their own church services. We plan to have a year of activities, and we'll make announcement throughout the year. But just look out for conference in November. This one is going to be very good. Our conferences are usually the best conferences. I remember, I have a joke to Gate Chopper. I remember when I just started to help plan conferences, started using the Jamaica flag in conferences.
Yeah.
PNP never used to use the Jamaica flag in nothing because they never liked the flag because it's green.
Have green.
Right. So the PNP never want to use the flag. I was very surprised last year to see the PNP have Jamaica flag in a them conference. And I was
they're getting greener.
Them start love Jamaica now. You know? So it just shows how stupid. Sometimes it just shows you how stupid the political space is, because you're not going to use the Jamaica flag because it have green in it. Just like when them take out the green out of the flag.
Out of the flag in Mobile, yeah, man. But Minister, we come a far way. We have come a far way. At 80, Jamaica has a lot to be proud of. And some of the achievement that you just named is a testimony to the sort of leadership that Jamaica Labour Party has provided. And you know, we were just, before you came on, we were talking about communications and some of the difficulties and how challenging it is, especially now when you're coming on the heels of a party that governed Jamaica for an extended period of time and would have built up communication apparatus in traditional media. And coming in on the heels of that, you're basically swimming upstream trying to compete. I was just planning to some persons some of the initiatives that you spoke of too, and the fact that it's a task to get information out. But the truth is that there's more information out there now than ever before in the history of JLP. But and we're not saying it because you're on the air. No, it's something that we can test.
And
Just
the
the
thing is,
era in which we exist today makes it more open to communication than ever before.
and it's easy to target the Minister of Information in a
Oh,
chopper.
yeah.
He's the one out there every day. He's the one you get to see.
Yeah.
And I've been in this business for a while. So I'm used to it. What is important, and the Prime Minister says it to me all the time, just do your job. Right?
Simple.
Don't watch the noise in the market, watch the sale, just do your job. And we have made so many improvements. For example, Cool FM is now going to come over to OPM, so we'll be able to push out more information. And Cool FM is like the number 6 radio station in the country,
Exactly.
right? PBCJ is finally going to be free to air, so somebody in a country who don't have cable by September is going to be able to turn on PBCJ and watch Parliament or whatever they want to watch.
Some of the persons, Minister, are asking, and I've heard this question several times, are you going back to utilizing GIS in any form similar to what it was back then?
Yes,
Good.
we're opening another regional office in St. Thomas, which
Mhm.
means we'll have one in St. Thomas, one in Kingston, and one in Montego Bay. We're also
Right.
going back to some of the traditional community meetings that we used to have when GIS was doing the greatest.
You're talking about the mobile units and all that too, right?
Mobile units, community meetings, going into communities, educating people. Because a big part of the challenge, is that COVID made a lot of us go on Zoom and forgot the ground.
Yes.
And most people in Jamaica don't have internet.
True.
As much as we are working to increase broadband exposure and running fiber all over the country, there are several places in Jamaica where people either cannot afford the data plan or they don't have Wi-Fi. So we have to, as a government, try to find ways and means of reaching every single person, regardless of which community they are in or where they are.
Mhm.
So yes, so GIS is going through a reform. If you notice, you've seen more of GIS on social media. They're pushing out things. One of the big things that we're going to be launching in a couple of weeks is the GIS fact-checking website.
There you go. That's another big one.
For those of us who like to tell lie on social media,
Mhm.
they're just like in the United States where you have PolitiFacts and you have Snoops.
Yep.
GIS is going to have its own fact-checking website. So when you tell the lie, somebody will research the lie and prove say a lie you tell.
Jamaica Labour Party turns 80. What's up for Belmont Road? Any new look?
Well, I don't know if we can reveal it yet, but we're gonna be doing some things at the front of the place to make the place look nice, and we're gonna be doing some things inside as well. And we're gonna be keeping a few events down there. We're gonna have some limes where people can come and we can reason and discuss the party and all of that. But we're gonna make those announcements. I don't want to. You can't get every exclusive chopper. Oh my, your program might hot, but you're getting enough already.
Respect for the link. All right. Well, we have the last word, Minister. People
No,
don't
and I
listen to
want to
you.
tell people who are listening and watching, listen, the JLP has been in power since 2016. It has not been easy. We have persevered and we have done well for the country. We have seen good economic growth. We have seen we have lowered the debt. We're spending more on hospitals. More money is being spent on health. More money is being spent on education. More money is being spent on national security. Just yesterday, the minister sent out a list where she's distributing thousands of computers to high schools across the island so that children will have access to computers and good computers in computer labs. We have distributed tens of thousands of tablets to students. The Jamaica Labour Party has always been about the upliftment of our people. It has always been about making Jamaica better. We have always put Jamaica first. When other people were running all over the place, getting involved in all sorts of mix-up, the Jamaica Labour Party has always been focused on what is good for Jamaica and putting Jamaica first. For the next 80 years, we're going to be doing more of the same, putting Jamaica first. We have a good prime minister who works hard. We have a good members of the team who work hard, who every day get up and dedicate their lives to the people of Jamaica and what is in Jamaica's best interest. So look out for some more information about the 80th anniversary and keep the faith in the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Chopper. I'm going to my bed. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. Respect. Appreciate it. So that was Robert Nesta Morgan, Minister of Info. And what that speaks to folks is it sort of solidified the argument that we're making before. And I'm happy that he joined us because, we were here saying that boy, Robert Morgan is accessible. You heard Garfield read. He was on a program, and I forget to even mention it while Minister was on. He was just on a program with Wave Radio in Fort Lauderdale just today. So the access to the information, Minister, we can't take that away from him. He's very accessible. And you heard some of the things that are coming. Persons are asking about JIS. JIS is coming back. They're opening other offices and they're rolling out the mobile unit, which a lot of persons are accustomed to back in the days when the JIS vehicle used to go around and disseminate information. That is coming back. He just spoke a while ago about a fact-checking unit at JIS, which will fact-check some of the misinformation. I think that is very, very important because the period in which we exist now is loaded and sometimes overrun with misinformation. So having a fact-check unit at JIS to ensure that some of the lies and propagandas that are being spread is fact-checked and verified is a good move. So, the folks who are talking about, we're not having information on nothing that's happening. That's a fallacy. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Things are happening. PBCJ is on, covering a lot more grounds. Man just spoke about Belmont Road is gonna be, and I know of some other situations where Belmont Road is concerned. He just spoke about some of the things that are going to happen at Belmont Road in terms of the lime and the get-togethers and creating the environment so people can come and sit back and chill and get information. These are significant. These are significant moves, and we must give credit where credit is due. So for those of you who are hell-bent on creating a divide within the camp, let's not do that. Let's just focus on the good things that are happening and try to build on that. Right? This was an impromptu, lasted probably more than an hour now. Yes, Peters is Falsewood. It's an impromptu. We are 135 deep. Share the program. Tell a friend that we've been on. We've just been joined by Robert Nesta Morgan. Before that, we had Sharon Hay Webster, and we had Chuck, the great Chuck Finley himself, who came in and wading on the conversation. A lot of things happening, folks. And once we maintain, and that's why I like this little space, because it's majority family. And once we maintain our composure and not get carried away with the noise and the distraction, and we're not buying into the argument where we start to eat up on each other and start to tear each other down and start to use one of us to tear another one down. As long as we stay away from that, we're going to be in good hands. And Steve, my brethren, big up yourself. I know you're concerned, Steve, but I know you are loaded with information, and I know you have access to information. And I know when you check it and slice it and dice it, you'll accept the fact that the communications overall for the Jamaica Labour Party is night and day compared to what it was. So if you think it's bad now, you and I know that it would have been 10 times worse because things have improved. Lots of things in the making. Again, the Jamaica Labour Party turns 80 today. A lot to celebrate. They're going to have a whole month of celebration leading up to conference. Conference is going to be big this year, folks. And I think the folks in the diaspora, Start, book your date. It's going to be the last, I think the second Sunday or third Sunday in the month of November. Don't take my word for it, but it's somewhere there. So start schedule yourself. That means in November you can come down and join us for conference, so we can have a good celebration. Lyrics man, tonight is not the night. We're not gonna take no disrespect. If you come with disrespect tonight, we're gonna cut you loose. So humble yourself. Jamaica Labour Party turns 80, and we're not gonna take any nonsense tonight. Third Sunday, yes, third Sunday. So that's what that's what it's gonna be. I think it's the third Sunday in November. So start slice that date. Start to put that in your notepad. Start to put that in your diary, and start to make some arrangement. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of the Jamaicans who live in the diaspora coming down for conferences here. And we hope that the persons who are supporters and followers of the chopping block, that we can come together and really have a good chopping block link up. So when you guys come through, we can have a little space in the corner, or we can do a meet and greet at the same time. But again, it's 11:34. I'm going to take my leave again until tomorrow evening at 7:30, where my good friend Darlan H. Francis will be here, and another special guest will be on tomorrow evening. So please remember to join us. It's going to be an interesting conversation tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you who is going to be on tomorrow yet, but we're going to have a really important guest on tomorrow to talk to us about. If I say, I'm going to let the puss out the bag. But you're here tomorrow. You see the promo. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Joan Powell, Jim Purple, Joan Violet, who is Sharon Davis, big up yourself. Thank you again to Robert Nestor Morgan. Thank you to Sharon Hay Webster, and to my good friend Chuck Finley, my brother. Janet Henry Robinson, big up yourself. Rashima, good to see you in the building, holding it down as usual. Bridget Foster. Bridget, I see you. You were in the building. You're gone. Eh? Everton Jarrett, good to see you as well. Jean Powell. Orlando Peters. Glenn Binns. Who is this? Kevin Smith. And Grace Thomas. Big up yourself. Gary G Plus, big up yourself. You're in the building as well. Who else is here? Let's see who else is here. Gravish is in the building. Yes. So until tomorrow, folks, 7:30 sharp tomorrow evening, we will be back in full effect. Until such time, you take care of yourself. Kean, big up yourself. Martin, Divi, my good friend, big up yourself, Divi. Enough respect to Donald Martin. All my friends over there at the Jamaica Strong, big up yourself. The Information Media family, big up yourself. Good to see you guys. I see some of you coming through. So Infomedia and Jamaica Strong, big up yourself. You guys are awesome. Laurel Parks, big up yourself. Pamela Bennett, big up yourself. Clive Smith, Colette Walker, big up yourself. And good to have you. Until tomorrow, 7:30 sharp. Yours truly will be back in full effect. Peace, and I'm out.